Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live this evening in UFRL, and it is Tier 2 for the first time in 2025. I hope you've all had a fabulous Christmas and a lovely New Year as well. But let's head straight into things. A mystery track this evening. We have got 9 circuits available for you, as that is the TikTok, and we will get away from that. And here we go. The 9 circuits are as followed. Imola, Singapore, Qatar, China, Hungary, Saudi Arabia, Portugal, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain. So we will do it in a removal sort of order. So it will be last track standing, and that will be the track that we will be going to. So we will start with a bit of a shuffle, and the first track that will be removed will be as followed. And it will not be at Portimao. Portugal has been dismissed straight off the bat. So the first track to go is Portugal. Again, we'll do a little shuffle and get the second track to go away. And the second track, it's not going to be held at Saudi Arabia as well. So Portugal and Saudi Arabia are out. And we're going to head straight into the third wheel. And let's see what happens then. It's close, but it will be China. There you go. So Shanghai is also heading out, and we are now going to do another shuffle. And the fourth track to be disappearing will be Singapore. So we will not be heading under the lights at Singapore, right? We are down to 5 tracks. Imola, Bahrain, Hungary, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. The fifth circuit that will be fading away is Bahrain, which was last night's race in Tier 1, of course, so it's always nice to not go with back-to-backs. Right, 4 to go. Imola, Hungary, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. And the next circuit to go away will be the Hungary ring. So there we go. Hungary is out, and we're down to just 3 now. Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and Imola. So this is getting tasty, and it will not be held in Italy. Imola has gone. Down to 2 then. We've got Qatar and we've got Abu Dhabi. The final track that it will not be held at. And it will not be held at Abu Dhabi. We are heading under the lights at Qatar. And that will be your 50% race tonight. The mystery circuit has selected Qatar for tonight's showdown. So that will be one to look forward to. Obviously, Tier 2 drivers can tell us if they are happy with that or disappointed or whatever it is. But there you go. Qatar is the venue for tonight. A 50% race. Whilst we're at it, we are going to have a little check for the calendar as well. There we go. So Qatar is now round 11. Of course, then we've got Mexico next week. Belgium in 2 weeks, Monza in 3 weeks, and in a month's time, we have got the Austrian Grand Prix for the season finale. So there you go. Those are your final 5 tracks this season. So let's see how Qatar strives to be a successful circuit in round 11. As for the Driver Championship, and Flynn has a 55-point advantage over Gandalf. He's really starting to have a move away, pulling away from the Mercedes. Our Parkour in 3rd, but not racing tonight, so that means the likes of Boy Knockout, Destroyer Jack, Cannon, and even Silky Stevens all have a chance to overtake Parkour if things go their way. And even Salty Stevens, in all fairness, he is within touching distance. If he gets a race win, he will get ahead of Parkour as well. In the Constructors' Championship, Visa RB and Mercedes, the dominant duo, just 5 points between them heading into round 11. And again, that is the combined constructors between tiers 1, 2 and 3. Get my words out correctly. Haas are in P3 just ahead of Aston Martin. Haas have had a fantastic sort of recent few weeks up until the Christmas period, and they'll be hoping to continue their form where they could be a surprise package at the Constructors' Championship come round 15 rather, which will also be a double points race. Aston Martin and Alpine are just behind them. McLaren, Williams, Ferrari, Red Bull in a bit of a pack further back. And then there's Kick Sauber in P10, but we won't discuss that too much. But yeah, these are RB and Mercedes on a 2 to beat, but Haas could be up there with the form they have been in. Going through the chat, Woody says good luck. Viking, nice, so he's happy, you presume. Tracks I wanted went the first 4 picks, says Havoc Connor. That's not ideal for Kick Sauber. Better than most of the tracks it could have been, says Woody. I would have left if it was Imola, not going to lie. Says Connor. And Gandalf says, and my poor run continues. As he heads to Qatar, obviously not too happy with that. Anyways, drivers can now begin to ready up. Everybody is in the lobby. Nobody has also tried to leave to get a time trial set up, of course, because you wouldn't have been allowed back in anyway. Is there anything else that I need to run through? Don't forget, to all the drivers, Park Fermi is still on, so ensure you've got a setup before you head out to the track. If you don't, I'd recommend you try and find one or ask someone if you can in your team maybe. But yeah, certainly make sure before you head out onto track in qualifying that you have a setup on. Bahrain would have been best, says Taylor. Yeah, I mean, the issue with Bahrain, obviously, I know you had a few drivers last night from Tier 2 who raced in it, and you don't really want back-to-backs. You know, I always like the variety that we have where you don't have the same track on a Monday as you would on a Tuesday, for example. So yeah, I don't know. I would have preferred to stay away from Bahrain personally, but that's just from a variety perspective. Obviously, some drivers would have preferred Bahrain, some wouldn't have. I know Woody is one of them who wouldn't have preferred to be at Bahrain. But either way, we are here at Qatar. So let's head onto the screen then and have a look what is going to occur. We'll keep the tyres off and we'll wait for the first drivers to go out again. They'll be putting on their setups. Just going to get a quick drink before qualifying really begins, and I'll be back in just a moment. Right, then we are back. As you can see, the 18 minutes has restarted on the top left, so therefore qualifying has literally just begun, and we will head straight into things. 17 drivers then on show tonight. Willie Fernandez at the top there is the only reserve, I do believe, from Tier 3. Yeah, so he's linking up with Gandalf. There's no Cannon then, so Cannon does not have an opportunity to move above parkour in the standings. The first driver heading out will be Angry Badger. Let's hope he got a setup in those opening 30 seconds. Didn't really leave himself too much time, but obviously feels prepared enough. Or I wonder if drivers as well may be considering getting a little bit more fuel on board than normal, just to get those extra couple of laps in, effectively, of extra practice, really, because you don't get additional practice in the mystery circuits. You only get the 18-minute qualifying session followed by the race, so this is where you'll probably expect to see drivers try to get as much track time as possible, especially during the first half of this qualifying session. I think that's where you really want to get your experience in this track delivered. Right, any comments in the lounge that we need to check for? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, alright, let's go then. We're going to go as well. We are live across TikTok and Twitch this evening. We are now just on with the TikTok, making sure we haven't missed anything either. So yeah, let's see then, Angry Badger. And he is the first driver. We'll see if he can be a contender again. He's not been amazing through qualifying the season, but Angry Badger will be hopeful to be up in a top 10. I think he'll be happy with a top 10 in qualifying, And if he can continue that form into the race, I think he'll be very satisfied for a double top 10 in quali in the race. A little bit slippery out there. But for Qatar, let's see what Badger can do. We've also got the Alpine and the V-Carb just behind him. So the Alpine will be ARC Mickey. Down the back straight, you just see him there. And also further back, you've got a Ferrari just heading out of the pits, I do believe. That'll be Mr. Potwash, currently standing in second place. And he's got a Haas directly behind him as well. And would that be Woody or would that be Flynn? It will be Flynn. No, it's Woody. It is Woody. So both Flynn and Woody are heading out. So 30.8 for Angry Badger through the first sector then. And again, we're going to see if he can match it up with the fastest drivers here in Tier 2. It will be a challenge for him. But then again, it equals it out for everyone, really. It's really all up to that natural pace because you haven't had too much time to practice, given it's a mystery track. As Viking Fox serving his engine penalty this evening. And yes, if you are either new to the league or you are only just watching it for the first time, we do engine penalties here, meaning you are effective. It's like a qualifying ban. You retire from the qualifying session, you will be starting at the back of the field. You have to do that once per season in tiers 1, 2 and 3. So for Boy Knockout and Viking Fox, they are serving their engine penalties tonight. That is them choosing when to serve it as well. So it's not like it gets randomly selected. They have selected the mystery track as to one that they want to serve their engine penalties for, as Angry Badger goes 1/10 faster than ARC Mickey at the top of the timing. Silky Stevens just exiting out of Sector 1. Taylor invalidating his opening lap then, would have done a 25.7. Gandalf coming through as the Haas there. Flynn and Woody, but yellow flags for, I do believe that's Flynn, and indeed it is, so he's obviously made a mistake. Batman goes splitting Badger and Mickey with a 23.4. Is anybody up the field on a lap here? Woody Fernandez also invalidating Gandalf 22.7, and he opens up over half a second of an advantage right now. Actually, that's probably the best thing to go to. Gap to the leader. Epic Frenchie goes P2 within 0.3 of a second now. So the Williams starting to improve those lap times across the board. And let's have a look towards Salty Stevens. I do think it might be his brother Silky ahead. And it is Silky Stevens, only P6 for him. Salty Stevens goes P7. So neither of the brothers could go particularly quick on their first outing here. As we go towards, we were going to go towards a Ferrari, but I noticed that it's not Potwash, it's just Badger heading into the pits. Let's go towards Flynn, but I know this won't be a quick lap. What about Woody? It should be a bit quicker because he is closer to his teammate than what he was before. A couple of drivers there. Interestingly, I think the Alpine further back. There's an Alpine here just ahead of him. He might be giving a little bit of slipstream to the line. He is. What would he do? He goes second fastest with that attempt. So he is just behind Gandalf there. Woody, one of the best qualifiers in Tier 2 this season. Sadly for him, doesn't quite deliver the results that he'd like to deliver through the races. But either way, still got plenty of qualities as a driver. Mr. Potwash goes into the top 10. But again, himself and Flynn obviously not setting the perfect time. Flynn apparently showing purple through Sector 1 as well, which will be interesting if Flynn can continue with this sort of lap time. Again, it's pretty much his second attempt. When if Fernandez goes quickest at the line, no he doesn't! He has set the same lap time as his teammate Gandalf. It is quite remarkable. A 1:22.777 by both Mercedes, Gandalf and Willie Fernandez. Excellent work there by the Tier 3 driver. Willie may be attempting that move up to Tier 2 fairly quickly at the pace he is going at. But wow, that is absolutely superb for him. You do go Flynn. Flynn has gone fast, is now 22.5. Again, the times are getting quicker. Let's have a look. Taylor, he's on the medium tyres, so he's not going to go particularly fast here. P11 for him, dropping down towards Jack and Destroyer Jack, 22.4, back with a bang, and he is at the top of the leaderboard, ahead of Flynn as Woody also is just behind him trying to get another lap in potentially. Again, you do imagine drivers are going to get multiple laps in for their first efforts, but then after that, oh, the spin there from Woody. So Woody just going to have to be a bit careful with that. Gets into the gravel. Fortunately for him, no damage at all. A little bit of damage potentially to the tyres in terms of their tyre life, but that is about it. You won't lose too much, luckily, as a result of that. But it was a little bit of a spin there, or at least a half spin by Woody. Let's go down towards the V-Carb. Salty Stevens to the line, 24-4. It's only P11 at the moment. Didn't even improve on that occasion. Is he trying to run again? Potentially so. His brother Silky across the line. And Silky Stevens also remains in 10th position. So we go up the order. Again, nobody at the front is going to improve. Havoc Connor, he's on a medium compound tyre for his first run, which is an interesting strategy to go on the mediums because it is restricting your opportunities to use those same tyres in the race itself. So yeah, quite risky that one. But either way, let's see what Havoc Connor can do on this occasion. So Jack, Flynn, Gandalf, Willie Fernandez and Woody currently in the top 5 as wide goes Havoc Connor. So he will not be improving on a P15 and he would have set a 24-2. So it wouldn't have been up there. In a way, it would have only been ahead of Mr. Potwash. I'll go up the field. I am Batman just about to start another lap. And then you've got Gandalf as well. Could watch out for Gandalf here. I know he's not on a formal lap right now, but he will be starting one just as we get out of the final corners. But let's see what he can do. We will stick with Gandalf out of turn 16, leading into turn 1. And for now, we'll just stick with him unless somebody else could be on a lap time. ARC Mickey, we haven't gone to him recently. I might just switch away and have a look, see if he's on a time. He might be on a lap, but he's not gaining through Sector 1. What about Sector 2? He's down as well, so there you go. ARC Mickey just continuing to go for an additional lap. Taylor as well, on the medium tyres, losing time. Then you've got the Ferrari. Angry Badger doing pretty well, to be fair, up in P7. I think he'll be very happy with P7 if he can get it in qualifying. But again, it's a big if. It will be a tricky one for him. He'll be happy with P7 at the moment, though. I am Batman in P8 just behind him. A reigning Tier 3 champion, might I add. And then you got Jar Jar Bing in P16. Was Tier 3 at the start of the season. Showed mighty form, winning 4 races in a row. Makes a move up to Tier 2 permanently. And is currently in the pits with just under 8 minutes remaining here in qualifying. Multiple drivers are heading in and around turn 1, in fact, including both Haas and both Ferraris. And there's also an Alpine in the mix as well there. So yeah, quite a few cars are bunched up through into Sector 1 and now going into Sector 2. But anyways, I am Batman 6th. But there you go, Gandalf is the one to watch because he has gone quickest. It's a 22-4 for him. Destroyer Jack, we're just off the pace there, 22-4 as well. We'll get the timings back up for you. So a direct comparison between a pairing, very, very close. Flynn also in P3 on an outlap, Woody Fernandez on an outlap, and Woody likewise. I wonder if Woody Fernandez could try and give Gandalf a little bit of slipstream down the main straight maybe, to try and improve his chances of a pole position. McQueen says, come on, Flynn. Deck says, up the Haas. Of course, the in-form team at the moment. And Flynn and Woody both on an outlap and both together as well. So I wonder who's behind who. Well, it's Flynn ahead of Woody, so Flynn might be giving Woody a bit of slipstream on the first chance and then maybe on a second. I wonder if they may consider switching. But either way, that's what they're going with. Destroyer Jack into the pits. Let's have a look what the gains are for Woody then. Starting a lap directly behind Flynn. Definitely takes a more narrow line into turn 1 compared to Flynn. But either way, they both still take it neat and tidy. But let's see what the Sector 1 will be for them. As I believe Havoc Connor is heading into the pits. Is it Havoc Connor? No, it's not Connor rather. It is Batman into the pits. And you've also got the Williams behind him as well. That'll be epic Frenchy. But let's see what Woody can do. Sector 1 is gaining time, so can he continue that? I don't know, is he going to get a little bit of dirty air from his teammate potentially? But he's certainly not far behind him. No doubt about that. So Woody and Flynn, could argue, seem on par in this qualifying session, or maybe even Woody could even be slightly faster at this stage. So there's a McLaren just off track. It's looking pretty good though for Woody so far. I'd say in comparison to Flynn, he does look pretty close to his teammate here. And if his teammate's on for a potential provisional pole, it could be even better for Woody. Out of turn 16 they go. Woody in the slipstream of Flynn. Flynn is delivering fastest, but Woody goes even faster. It's a 21.8 at the line, and it is mighty, mighty stuff from Woody. Mighty stuff from the Haas, and they will be delighted as the informed team to be 1 and 2 with just under 5 minutes of qualifying remaining. And Woody is so far clear at the moment. What an effort by Woody there. And Haas, wow, they are certainly in form. I mean, they're what, 100 or so points away in the Constructors' Championship. You know, it would not shock me if Haas come back and win it, you know. They've got some fantastically quick drivers in their team. I mean, what you got? Tier 1, you've got Lynx and you've got Deck. I mean, that's already a very strong partnership. Tier 2, you've got Woody and Flynn. Woody, who was picked up on his form for the last few races, and obviously Flynn leading a championship by the margin he's got. I need to double check who their tier 3 drivers is. I think they've got Jack. If they've got Jack, it's a very strong team there. I will just double check it, but I'm pretty sure they have got Jack Amu in tier 3. Let's double check it. I might be incorrect on that. Anyways, Haas tier 3. Yeah, they got Jack in tier 3. I mean, yeah, that's a very strong team. I genuinely believe if you're Mercedes or if you're Visa RB, I'm not certain that the other team is the strongest team. I think Haas are the strongest team at the moment. I know obviously in tier 1 you've got Matthias in Mercedes, although, you know, he's not been winning them all the last couple of races, for example. Mr. Perm, obviously a strong driver, pushing for top 5s, always gets in the top 10s really. So he's certainly delivering pretty well. But Matthias, they're hoping for wins from him. Woody Fernandez, they're hoping for wins from him as well. Gandalf, they'll be hoping to get podiums on a regular basis. But for Haas, Lynx and Deck, both potential race winners on their day. If not a race winner, they're certainly looking at a podium or top 5, whatever it may be. But that's, you know, you would not expect them to be low down in the top 10. Top 5 is pretty much like a bare minimum at the moment for the Haas in tier 1. In tier 2, you expect Flynn to be bare minimum podium. If not podium, you expect him to be battling for the win. Woody at the moment, he's been getting regular top 10s, so in the last couple of races, so he'll be hoping to continue that form at the bare minimum as well. So yeah, and obviously tier 3, Jack competes for the titles. Not the titles, but for the wins or for podiums as well. So they're very, very strong at Haas. And they're in a great position in the final 5 races of the season to possibly go on and miraculously win the championship. They've got a good shot. Don't forget Williams. Well, yeah. I think Williams have got a slightly better chance of Kick Sauber at the championship at the moment. So yeah, that's all I'll say on that. And that's not really a good thing. Yeah, for me personally, there's not 2 contenders, but there are 3 contenders for that Constructors. And I do believe Haas will be up there with Mercedes and Visa RB at the end of the season. Again, with double points on that finale as well. Right, 1.5 minutes of qualifying remains, so we're going to sort of change it away from the talk of Haas with their recent run of form, and we're going to have a look towards these final 90 seconds or so of qualifying. Looking at the TikTok, what division is this? Tier 2, Josh? So we had Tier 1 last night, but Tier 2 is running tonight. Up the Haas. Oh, it's Qatar. Thank God I'm not racing. Zays Parkour. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Well, either way, we know how strong you've been. I think you've won What, have you won half of your races that you've raced in this season? I'm pretty sure you have. Right, let's see then as Batman has invalidated. We want to look towards the guys further up though. Woody Fernandez in sector 1 and Gandalf also, but not on a lap at the... Oh, Gandalf's not on a lap, is he? What's he done here? Oh, he's lost some of his wing. Oh no, Gandalf's not going to go for pole then. It is game over for Gandalf. 20 seconds to go. And he has lost part of his front wing. That's it for the Gandalf. How has he done that? Where can you even lose part of your wing here? At Qatar? Wow, I have no idea where he's been able to do that, but you don't get front wing damage at Qatar very easily. So I'm very, very surprised about that. Either way, the checkered flags are now out. He is heading into the pits. So that'll be it for him. Destroyer Jack, Mickey, Batman, Jar Jar as well. All not able to improve on their times. Epic Frenchie's on a run. We've also got Woody Fernandez, but he hasn't validated there as well. So it's not looking great at the moment. Angry Badger goes P7. Let's drop down towards Havoc. Connor again, he's invalidated. So yeah, nobody's improving. Salty Stevens invalidates as well. What about Taylor? Showing up as purple through the middle sector, so we'll keep watch of Taylor at the moment. Good luck Alpine for tonight, says PRV Widget. Currently 4th for Drac and 8th for ARC Mickey. Double top 10 at the moment, it looks like. But we've still got a few drivers outside of the top 10 to go. Let's see what Taylor will do on this run. Salty P14. Taylor to the line. It's P5 for Taylor. But you've got the two Haas here. Flynn coming through. Flynn eases up and goes second as well. Stays second, shall I say. But he does gain and is within a tenth of Woody. And this is such a dominant display by Haas here in Tier 2. Epic Frenchie is out of fuel. And he decides to cut the corner as well, but it doesn't really mean anything. And that is qualifying over and complete. He's going to let the Alpine through as well. But yeah, it is a Haas 1 and 2 for Woody and for Flynn. When I say that they are going to be the team to potentially beat, even though they are about 100 points away in the Constructors, that really is certainly proof of that. Wow. So it is Woody on pole. That will be a bonus point going towards him, and also a bonus point towards Haas, of course. Flynn in P2. Yeah, they'll be delighted with that. Look at the gap to Gandalf. Half a second. That is quite impressive. I do want to get back to a comment as well. I think Stafford. I used to race in this league. I got kicked because I got glitches by safety car. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't recognise your name. I mean, I've been here since the start of season 2. I don't recall anybody getting removed because of glitches by safety car. Might be wrong. If it was many seasons ago, I might be incorrect. But again, I've been here since the start of season 2, and I certainly don't recall anybody getting removed or whatever for something under the safety car. I mean, so yeah, that I don't know. I don't know what's happened there, but unless you're thinking of another league, I'm not too sure. I did the 22.4 with 5 laps of fuel. Mickey came into the pits at the exact time I was going out and got blocked. Missed the line by 1 second. Ouch. I know what you mean when you say got blocked. You don't mean got blocked as in on a lap. You mean when you went into the pits because Mickey was obviously heading out. Damn, that's painful. A 1-2 canny hack, says Jack. Haas going to be unstoppable tonight. I mean, Flynn may very well be unstoppable, but we yet to see Woody put in those real signs of strong performances. But let's hope tonight could be the night for Woody to impress. I didn't pick a setup. Great, says Boy Knockout. Doesn't sound particularly great to me. I know you're obviously being sarcastic. Don't worry. But yeah, that's also not particularly ideal. But either way, a 5-minute break. So we will be back in a couple of minutes' time for this Grand Prix at Qatar. Be back in just a moment. Right then, we are back. So again, we are just going to be a couple of minutes away from starting, right? Yeah, starting at 37. It's currently 35, so we just got a couple of minutes to go. Does look like we're in for a bit of a tasty race, though. Fingers crossed. Um, yeah, Qatar. I mean, not too many strong overtaking opportunities. Obviously, you've got turn one, but outside of turn one, there's a possible risky overtake into turn six, which is the hairpin. Another sort of mini hairpin at turn 10 as well, a left-hander. So you've got the triple right-handers. Obviously, you're not going to really go for big moves there unless somebody has made a mistake somewhere. Maybe into the final corner at turn 16. Outside chance, maybe, of somebody making a risky move. But you don't want to be losing a DRS train by making a move into turn 16. So there you go, there's the risk. If somebody is able to, if somebody's watching, can somebody please post the Discord into the Twitch? I might be able to do it myself, actually. It's a bit more difficult whilst on this. But let's see. I've got a minute to go, so I hope I can get there in time. Invite people. Copy. I think that just works. Oh, no, that just says hidden. Right, there you go. Can't do that then. Don't normally do it by computer, but it looks different on here. Yeah, not sure what's going on. Anyway, so I think somebody else is doing it. I think Jack's doing it. There you go. Thank you, Jack. I can do it on I will do it in the TikTok though, because that's a little bit easier. Actually, I can't. Unless somebody's not said ready up. Yeah, they have not said ready up, yeah. Doug, take your time with the ready up. Right. Stewards. Thing is, I know full well somebody's gonna press it. Invite copy. TikTok. Just about able to get there, I think. There you go. That is the Discord. If anybody does want to join from a TikTok, it's also been posted into the Twitch as well. We probably can. I mean, we don't normally, but I can go to the dashboard. But either way, the race will be starting very soon, so can't be getting too involved in that at the moment. But if there's a chance, maybe under a safety car, I will do that. Right, here we go. 5 red lights. And it is go, go, go as an Aston Martin goes charging for that. Will be Jar Jar Big. Oh my god, Jar Jar Big's got a drive through penalty. I mean, what a crazy start from him. And they're about 4 wide, going further back as well. It's a mental start here at Qatar. But they have got away relatively cleanly so far. A few battles going in the midfield as well. Drac, Batman, Willie, Badger, Mickey on Boy Knockout as well. Boy Knockout obviously struggling with setup as well. But the Aston Martin is on the inside line. He's under attack now from the Ferrari of Mr. Portwash. And they all going down the hairpin as well. The kick salvo with the Mercedes, the Ferrari there as well. Both Ferraris making moves. And they've got Havoc Connor at the rear end. But it's Jar Jar Bing leading the way with the penalty as well. Badger going for a move or defending as well against ARC. Mickey. And it looks like Mickey has just got his way up into the top 10. Viking and Silky, the 2 V-carbs down the order in P15 and P16. Let's get the position changed up for you as well. Up 15 places, Jar Jar Bing. I mean, what a start to the race from Jar Jar. Oh, okay, obviously exclude the drive-through penalty. He has made a absolute blistering getaway. I mean, I've not seen that. Jesus. I'd love to have known when Jar Jar Bing pressed the go button. That must have been a very quick release. And he is straight in for that drive-through penalty. Sadly for him, he will not be staying in this entire 17 car pack. So when he comes out the pits, he'll probably be about 5 or so seconds behind, maybe a little bit more actually. But they are still continuing into turn 1 as well. But the 2 Haas looking good here at the start of the Grand Prix. Woody retaining the advantage from Flynn. And here comes Batman tracking down Destroyer Drac. Batman going to go side by side with Drac. A little bit scruffy on the exit, but Drac holds a position ahead of the onrushing Batman there. So Batman unable to get the position from the Alpine will go up the field. Taylor is the one keeping calm and collected here, working his way with Woody and Flynn and creating a gap as well to Gandalf. So Gandalf under a little bit of pressure through these early stages where he has lost DRS on the top 3. Woody, Flynn and Taylor then are the trio out in front of the race as Parkour says, come on Frenchie, let's go. Frenchie currently in the top 5 behind Gandalf, who is not in DRS range at the moment, Gandalf, so he will need to pick up the final 10th of a second if he can. He was gaining a bit of time through the triple right-handers on Taylor, so has he got DRS? I think he may have just missed out on DRS there, and that will put him under threat from Epic Frenchie. Let's see Flynn then down the straight. You anticipate he will go possibly for a move, but he's a bit far back actually. Here comes Taylor. And Taylor was certainly close to Flynn there. Certainly further back though. Gandalf is going to fall behind Frenchie. And Epic Frenchie into 4th position now in the Williams. But look at the gap. 1.7 seconds to the top 3 who are charging through. Woody, Flynn and Taylor have the gap they need on the likes of Frenchie, Gandalf, Jack and Batman as well. Woody Fernandez doing well in 8th. Mickey and Badger in the top 10. Boy Knockout Salty in the pack as well. Salty Stevens is in the rear of this battle. We'll go towards him now. Just behind the Aston Martin of Boy and Knockout. Then you've got Viking and Mr. Potwash together. Viking Fox just behind there, 1 second, so he's not obviously particularly close. Boy Knockout very close towards Angry Badger. The game giving us a pretty horrible view there, but now we're back to a decent view. And going for the narrow move there is Boy Knockout, who's attacking Angry Badger. That could give Salty a chance, but here we go again. Can Boy Knockout or Salty Stevens go for a big move here? The trio working hard, battling hard, but Angry Badger just for the moment staying ahead. But for how much longer? Because he's behind Mickey and Woody gets an early 3-second time penalty. He's ahead of Flynn and Taylor, but sadly for him, it looks like he will lose lap position. So, well, not just that position, but he will lose both, and he may end up losing another 1 or 2 at the end of the race, depending on how things go, as Flynn will overtake Woody for the lead of the Grand Prix. But here we go. Mickey will lose not 1, but 2, and down the entire goes Boy Knockout, who makes a move. He goes a little bit deep on the exit. Badger round the outside, back on the inside line comes ARC Mickey, but side by side between Badger and Boy Knockout here. Can he get through? Badger goes for the inside line. He does make the move, and look at his wild scenes. Badger with Boy Knockout. Has Badger got it again? As we've got the Red Bull involved. Off goes Boy Knockout. He has the inside line now. Bit of contact from the Red Bull behind, but the Aston Martin strives and is successful in the move. For now, Badger will fight it back on the inside line. Not quite going, but Salty Stevens enters the fray. Salty through on Badger. Through he goes. And an inside line there from Badger. And it is an interesting line at the very least. Badger loses touch there, and Salty Stevens up into the top 10 as Boy Knockout pulls away. And look at the gap to Woody Fernandez at 3 seconds. A fantastic bit of battling there between about 5 or 6 drivers in that. And again, look at Salty just struggling there with Angry Badger now directly behind him. As Angry Badger a little bit slow on the exit, and that gives Viking Fox a chance here. Viking on the outside at turn 16. Is he going to give enough space? Yes, he does. A little bit of contact potentially, but Viking Fox looks to land a move and a punch here on Angry Badger. But also ARC Mickey is pushing his way through. He's going to try and make a move now on the inside line. He's not happy with all of this battling going on, knowing they are losing too much time here, Mickey. But Angry Badger does stay ahead of Viking Fox, only just, but it is enough for him. Salty Stevens over 1 second behind Boy Knockout. Let's have a look at the tyre situation then. Medium tyres for everybody, bar 4 drivers. Destroyer Jack in P6 has done well on those hards to be where he is. And then you've also got ARC Mickey, Havoc Connor and Silky Stevens down the order as well. So there you go, those are your tyre situations. Nobody opting for the soft tyres, which is not a surprise at all. No, just going to stick clear. We might go up the field or potentially down. Havoc Connor is certainly closing the gap here on Mr. Potwash as well. But potentially go up here because now Taylor has closed the gap, and Epic Frenchie and Gandalf as well are within 0.2 of a second, so we are just going to go to these two. Frenchie just had a drop off there, may have actually got a potential track limits warning. They were certainly very close towards one on the exit of turn 15. Let's hope for his case that he didn't get one, but he has the DRS now on Gandalf. You'd expect him to get a move done. Woody allowing Flynn to get ahead, but Frenchie does get through now on Gandalf. Taylor also ahead of Woody, and Taylor is 1.1 behind Flynn, who is starting to charge away from the pack. 1.2 seconds now for Flynn. Looking good if he wants to make that move up to Tier 1, obviously by winning the Tier 2 Championship, which it looks like he's going to do. Viking Fox also makes a move on Angry Badger now. They are resuming their battle that they had on the opening couple of laps here. Viking Fox just up into P11. Badger looks a little bit slow on the exit there. I do wonder if there's any potential damages. No clear damage to the Ferrari from what I see. ARC Mickey trying to work its way through on Angry Badger. Don't forget Mickey is on the hard compound tyre as well. We're actually going to get the lap data on for you, because that does show what tyre they're on in the top right of your screen. S for soft, M for medium, H for hard, and of course ARC Mickey is on the hards. Most drivers on the mediums, so Mickey not doing a terrible job, he's certainly not, but he'll obviously like to be further up the field. Destroyer Jack is the one who is impressing on those hards up in the top 6 at the moment. He has been doing well through these stages as well. As we go up towards Destroyer Jack here, we might have to move away. Silky Stevens receives a time penalty. On board with Gandalf for now. We may go towards Woody. Woody does go for the move, as does Gandalf. So Gandalf is successful. Woody goes for the move on the inside of Taylor. They are going to possibly run almost side by side, but Woody is now ahead of Taylor and up into P2. The issue is for Woody, whilst yes, he would like Flynn to win this race, also Woody wants to pick up as many points as possible, so he wouldn't want to drag himself and Taylor back into the pack containing the likes of Gandalf, Frenchie and Destroyer Drac. So he does want Flynn to win, obviously, from this stage, but also he wants to try and get as many points as he can, and he doesn't want to be dropping back into the pack further back, given he's got a penalty as well. That is the most important factor here. We are just going to drop away for Salty Stevens, who is behind Viking Fox. He was a couple of tenths behind. He's opened up towards 4 tenths, but again, not a major gap between a pairing. But yeah, he's certainly looking to do something here. Got a chat on there, yep, we've got the chat on, that's good. Game audio is gone. It's back on, it's on for me. Yeah, it's on for me, I don't know what's going on there, Jack, but it seems okay. Unless that was a comment made earlier on. Sadly, it doesn't say the timings of when they were made. So we're just on directly with Salty. I may just move up the field here. Destroyer Drac having a look now on Epic Frenchie. He's going to get a move on Epic Frenchie round the outside. Frenchie defends the inside line quite hard. But can Drac pull off the move here? It looks like he will. The inside line now for Destroyer Drac at turn 2. And he does succeed just about. Frenchie tries to fight it back but unable to do so. And Drac on the hard tyres is up into the top 5. Feisty stuff. But great stuff at that as well by Destroyer Jack, and he has made a big move now. And those hard tyres may start to really work in favour of Destroyer Jack in these next few laps before the medium tyres begin to go off, and also when they make their pit stops for the hard tyres. You do expect a one-stop strategy here at Qatar. It's certainly not the case at a track like Bahrain, where you can split between a 1 and 2. I'll be honest, a 1-stop tends to be better at Bahrain, but some drivers can do well with a 2-stop as well. But here at Qatar, it's one-stop strategy. Hard medium or medium hard, whichever one you go for, it's going to be one or the other really. I mean, soft tyres, they fall off a bit too quickly normally here at Qatar. But let's see what Taylor can do directly behind Woody now. And Flynn has opened up a 3.5 second gap over Woody. So Woody certainly doing well. Was a slip? That's Destroyer Drac. Drac has slipped it. And he's down into P9. He will probably lose a couple of extra places down the straight as well. But sadly for him, he has lost some places there. Now towards Taylor, who is on the inside, making a move on Woody. And is certainly going for it. And he's got the move done. So Taylor now is up the order. and making it up into 3rd position. Good stuff from him then. Certainly done well to get up to P2, but Woody and Gandalf are right in the mix now as well. Gandalf seems to have got his medium tyres up and running really, given those sort of struggles he was having through the early couple of laps. He has pulled it back together again. Epic Frenchie, Willie Fernandez up there in 6th as well. Willie is still in DRS range. Okay, he is just hanging on, barely hanging on. But he's still there on the likes of Taylor, Woody, Gandalf and Frenchie as well. Frenchie having a solid 2nd race here. Of course, he had his debut on round 10. Now this is his 2nd race in UFRL, and he certainly looks to be delivering a strong performance. For P9 and Destroyer Jack having lost out 1 or 2 spots, he's ahead of Viking, Salty, Mickey and Badge as well. I know I say 1 or 2. He didn't actually end up losing to Viking Fox, interestingly. I thought he may have done, as the McLaren there, Taylor, sort of making a move to the right, as if he was going to go in the pits. He obviously didn't. And Woody now is going to make a relatively easy move round the outside. Or is it going to be relatively easy? Yes, it will. Taylor opting not to fight it too hard. Woody has spun it. He has spun it. Luckily for him, he doesn't lose too many places. He completely cuts the corner. But either way, has he got any damage? I imagine his tyres will not be feeling particularly nice right now. There you go, sadly for Woody, down a P8. And luckily for him, he is still in the race, because that could have been a lot worse than what it was. But now let's see if Woody can recover some positions out of that. He's had good pace tonight, so he'll be hoping that he can still deliver some good points for the team. But it is an error, unfortunately, by Woody. A little bit, maybe too much power down on the traction. But yeah, sadly for Woody, down a P8. So we're going to go back up then towards Taylor, Gandalf and Frenchie. Does anybody here have damage after what occurred there from Woody? Can't quite recall who he went into. He certainly made a bit of contact with somebody after losing the traction, but he seems okay at the moment. Dougie said, Woody doing what he can here for his teammate with that pen. Yeah, he certainly did. And he did a good job. He did a good job. Obviously was P2 with the likes of Taylor. Gandalf was just behind. He opened up that gap, and which is now at 4 seconds. As Gandalf now going to take the reins here and go up to P2 ahead of Taylor, who does not fight it. Epic Frenchie. Did he make a bit of contact there, Frenchie? I believe he may have done. And let's hope for his sake he didn't get any damage. But Epic Frenchie, and he looks okay on that viewing. But I do believe there was contact. Into the pits goes Woody, and into the pits goes Viking Fox as well. Is it going to be a set of hard tyres for the pair of them? I think it does seem like a likely strategy choice. As I move down the inside there from Epic Frenchie, having a look on Taylor, doesn't quite execute his plan. But he's still in the frame here for a possible podium position. So Epic Frenchie is certainly putting off a strong performance. Again, we'll move a little bit further adrift. Batman with Drac, with Salty, Mickey and Badger as well. A 5-car battle. I think Viking Fox was sort of in and around this pack as well. So we'll watch out for Viking Fox when they all make their pit stops. Don't forget, ARC Mickey is going to run a little bit longer. Given he's on the hard tyres, he has no choice. And Willie Fernandez with a 3-second time penalty in currently 5th position, which won't be helpful or favourable towards Mercedes come the end of this race, obviously in their constructors charge with Visa RB, and I do believe Haas, which is obviously doubtful, was a bit fast. There goes Batman, and there you go, we got a 10-second penalty as well. It did look like he went in a bit too quickly, a bit too hot, and there you go, a 10-second time penalty for I Am Batman as they do head into the pits. Unfortunately for Batman, he won't be able to serve at 10 seconds straight away, and there's a problem for Mercedes. There is a Mercedes in trouble. It's Gandalf. Gandalf is in trouble, and he is into the gravel. He's back up and running, but Gandalf, the closest championship contender to Flynn, is absolutely in the mud, or the gravel, as some may say. But there you go, a problem for Gandalf. He's also got front wing damage. I mean, let's hope that it wasn't the same that he occurred in qualifying, where he did also get wing damage, but that is not going to benefit Gandalf or Mercedes as well. And don't forget, this is big for Mercedes. They need Gandalf to try and push towards those podiums. And he looked like he was on course to be battling for a podium position, but all of a sudden, he is absolutely in a bit of trouble. And now Gandalf, who still needs to pit, needs to repair that front wing. He will be able to go onto the hard tyre, so luckily he won't have to pit again for a mandatory stop at all. So he can pit this lap, change for the hards, change his wing as well. And now look, this is Silky Stevens behind him, and he maybe knows of the Gandalf. To be fair to Gandalf there, he did actually move away and allowed Silky to go through. Wasn't he? Maybe he may felt like he maybe didn't have to, but at the same time, it is quite sportsmanlike there from Gandalf to allow Silky to easily go through. But Gandalf there, going into the pits, and again, we may see the Mercedes quite far down the field here. So Boy Knockout out of the pits as well. Let's go up the field. We may just drop down. Actually, I see Viking Fox was close towards Salty and towards Batman. The trio coming through here, and now Salty Stevens round the outside on Batman. He will have the inside line, both on the hard compound tyre. It does look like Salty's just ahead of Izzy. Batman fights round the outside, and as Batman held on to it defensively, and he has made it stick. So Batman's still there, but here comes Salty once again. Viking Fox will want to have a look at this, and we'll have a look directly from the Viking POV, because he's going to go for a switchback. Is it a beautiful switchback or not? He is going to run side by side with the Red Bull, just about missing out there is a Viking Fox, but again he has half a car on the inside now of the Red Bull, backs out of it in the end, and that was great racing between Batman, Salty and Viking Fox as well. A lot of superb battles in the midfield tonight, I've got to say. Full credit to the drivers on the racing for this evening. But there you go. Batman, Salty and Viking going well. Into the pits goes Flynn, and into the pits goes Epic Frenchie as well. Mr. Potwash receives a 3-second time penalty, but Taylor now has a 3-second gap over Draclen, 2 seconds to Mickey, but don't forget your net race leader is Flynn in the Haas, and we'll see where he comes out. Maybe just check on the gap to the leader and see how far away he will be from Taylor. There you go, out of the pits he goes, and it is 20 seconds, so certainly in a comfortable range for Flynn. And we'll get that back to the interval as well. Further down the field, go back towards this Frenchie with Boy Knockout going side by side, and the Mercedes of Willie Fernandez just behind. Looks good though for Boy Knockout just ahead, but here comes Frenchie again. Is he going to make a push for a move out of turn 2 into turn 3? I think he'll just stay in behind for now. So there you go, Knockout, Frenchie and Willie Fernandez just behind as well. And further back you've got this battle, Batman, Viking, Salty, and here comes Angry Badger now closing in as well. So these 4 drivers pushing for position again. You do get points all the way down to last position as well, which obviously if there were 20 drivers it would be down to P20. There's 17, so you will get points down to P17 tonight. Obviously if you're at the back you won't get too many points, you'll get a few, but you still get points for finishing the race, so that's why it is worth finishing races rather than just retiring in the pit. Speaking of pits, into the pits goes Taylor from the race lead, and that will push the 2 Alpines 1 and 2 until they opt to make their stops. Now we'll get the stop strategy on. So only a few drivers need to pit. Jack, Mickey, Havoc, Connor and Silky Stevens as well. They are the only 4 drivers now who are needing to pit. And Flynn will re-emerge with that net race lead. Back towards Viking Fox we go then. And let's see if he will go for the move on Batman. Yes, he will. See, it should be a relatively easy one. It was close enough. And here we go with Salty Stevens as well. Salty's made 1 move. Is he looking at a second? He half-heartedly looked at a move. And in the end, just about had to back out of it. Viking Fox having absolutely none of it there, and not allowing Salty to go for it. Batman and Badger both, interestingly, going slightly wide of the mark as well on the exit of turn 2, so a little bit wide there from the pair of them. Salty Stevens to a 3-second time penalty, so that will not be beneficial towards Salty Stevens come the end of the event. But either way, he is running in P11, and we still await those 4 drivers, of course, into the pits. I wonder if they may go for it this lap or next lap potentially. I think they may all be the hard tyre runners. We'll just double check on that. And yeah, it's the hard tyre runners who are still needing to pit. So there you go. Let's stick on with this battle, and for the meantime, Viking, Salty, Batman and Badger. Badger certainly is the closest one to any of them, but into the pits goes Destroyer Jack. ARC Mickey therefore has to stay out for an additional lap. I wonder if that was planned by Alpine, if they both knew they were going to go for the hard medium strategy. Was doing well for Jack until he made his mistake, of course. Willie Fernandez with a 3-second time penalty, currently in P9. I think he may get ahead of Jack as well here. Let's go up towards Willie Fernandez for now. Destroyer Jack then does fall in behind them, where you've got Taylor Boy Knockout as well just behind. So where does he come out here, Destroyer Jack? Actually, he's in a pretty good place. He's ahead now of Viking, Fox and Salty Stevens. So he's not lost as much as I thought he may have done, as I Am Batman receives a 3-second penalty as well. And he's now battling here with Angry Badger. Badger has a look. And he goes for a move, Badger! It's a late move from Badger. Down on the inside of Batman. He may be under pressure from a potential penalty as well for that. For Angry Badger, was a bit late going for the move on the inside line, a bit too late on the brakes, and Angry Badger in the end has cost Iron Batman at DRS range as well. So sadly for Batman, lost a lot of time, well, thinking of it, lost a lot of time really, lost probably about half a second or so, and that has cost him that DRS 1 second window to the cars ahead. So yeah, you imagine Badger will get fortunate if he doesn't get any sort of penalty for that, but we'll see obviously with the stewards. But let's go back up towards Boy Knockout here. Behind Taylor, you've got Epic Frenchy, half a second back. Silky Stevens not in DRS range. Into the pits goes Havoc Connor, as we still await for 2 drivers now. ARC Mickey and Silky Stevens as well. Oh, Silky Stevens is well off the pace, and he is into the pits now, Silky. But now we are seeing a move here. Boy Knockout overtaking Taylor rather. Flynn though is 10 seconds behind Mickey, but again the gap he has over everyone else is quite impressive here from Flynn, and he will be coming home with the championship come round 15. Surely there is no one who can stop Flynn from doing that. He is 55 points clear, winning this one. Gandalf is down in last position, and Gandalf is his closest contender. There is just no chance Flynn will be denied this championship. Surely. I mean, if he doesn't take it, he must have gone on holiday for the final 4 rounds of the season if he doesn't take the title. Because there's just no way. And Frenchy now has a look on the inside line of the McLaren. In the end, does back out of it. Taylor just ahead of him, denying the opportunity there. Viking Fox, though, is having none of it. He's going for the move here on Willie Fernandez. He gets a move on Willie Fernandez. And now you've got Salty Stevens in the frame as well. Salty Stevens will certainly be having a look to join Viking up the order here. So 2 Red Bull and V-Carb sister cars going at it with the Mercedes here. Wonder if Toto Wolff and Christian Horner will be watching this now. Obviously, I'm joking. But let's see what Salty Stevens does here. Does he go for the move on Willie? And if he does go for the move on Willie, he may have to attempt a double overtake down the straight here. Easy, close enough. We do want to go up the field, but I'm going to stick with this for the meantime, as we do see Willie Fernandez going for the overtake on Viking Fox. So Salty not getting directly involved in this one. But is Willie overtaking Viking a risk for him? Because if Willie is fighting with Viking, that will allow for this man, Salty Stevens, to go through. And he does go through. Salty is up into 8th place now. And next up will be the target of Viking Fox. So when we did think that move by Willie was a bit risky, only because he could lose the position here to Salty, and that is exactly what he has done. Salty Stevens is up the order. Let's go back up the field towards Epic Frenchy. And now we'll get the tyre situation on, now that everybody has stopped, apart from ARC Mickey there. So who's in a good position? Destroyer Jack, P6. Only 2 laps on those mediums. That will be interesting. Taylor as well, 3 laps on the hards. In a fairly good place if he wants to land a podium in this race. Boy Knockout, couple of laps older on those hards, so he's not in a great position. Obviously, a safety car is the only way Flynn can be denied the win tonight. I don't think he can make a mistake to lose it. That'll be too much for him. But let's see then what will occur here. We've got Boy Knockout, we've got Taylor, Epic Frenchy and Destroyer Jack, who has done very well, by the way, Destroyer Jack, to getting into this position. So fair play to him. Yeah, wouldn't have expected him to get right involved, but he has done. And here we go, getting involved and going for the move, Dirac. Little bit too much potentially on the move there on Epic Frenchie. A little bit of contact, forcing Frenchie a little bit offline, certainly compromising the Williams down at turn one. Jack does get ahead now. He's making a move on Taylor as well. They are going to run side by side. A bit of contact between the pair of them. That's between Destroyer Jack and Taylor. And also yellow flags for Woody further back in the house. And also you've got, looks like I Am Batman. So Woody and Batman potentially having a coming together down on the exit of turn two. Similar to Destroyer Jack with Taylor just a second ago there. But yeah, Jack certainly on that move of Frenchie. A little bit pushy, but then again, may have felt like he deserved a bit more space from Taylor as well. Epic Frenchie, though, is now directly behind Taylor here. Gandalf with a 3-second penalty. It goes from bad to worse for the crew at Mercedes. And they're not going to be keen on the gap to Haas in particular. And also, obviously, Visa RB. But the gap to Haas come the end of this week could be very minimal, really. It could be halved. It wouldn't shock me if there's about 50 points between Mercedes down to Haas come the end of this race week. That is how close it is getting for that championship. And obviously, Visa RB are right there as well. They're going to be up there, but Haas are the ones to watch for sure. As we can see, Viking Fox through on Salty Stevens, Badger as well, overtaking Willie Fernandez. Back up towards Epic Frenchie we go. So, I mean, Haas is certainly the informed team. There's no denying that at this stage of the season. Woody receives a 10-second penalty. Just don't retire in the pits, Woody. He was retired in the pits. And that will cost Haas a few points. I know, obviously, it's not a lot of points, but it's going to cost them a few points here for Woody. And sadly, that's going to be a minimum of 4 points, possibly more, depending on penalties, down the drain for Haas. It may not sound like a lot, but take into context, the gap between Visa RB and Mercedes at the top of the standings at the moment is just 5 points. So at the end of the season, that could genuinely be crucial. 4 points fading away there for Woody and Haas. It's not as major for Woody, but it is pretty major for the Haas team, you imagine. Especially with the form that they have been in. They could have used an additional 4 points or 5 points, whatever it may have been for Woody. They would have certainly been able to use that. But either way, that's not going to be the case anymore. Batman would still get 5 points as things stands for P16. Obviously, depending on post-race penalties as well. Let's drop down the order. Viking Fox here with Salty Stevens. Viking on the inside, Salty on the outside. Certainly not working together here. They're going at it together. And it looks like Viking round the outside at turn two has just about got the move done on Salty Stevens. And up into 6th place goes Viking Fox. And so he does get that move done. Badger ahead of Mickey, ahead of Woody Fernandez. ARC Mickey in P9. 2 laps on those mediums. So he is also in a decent position to recoup a few more points here, ARC Mickey. So we could watch out for him in terms of a top 5 finish come the end of this race. It would not surprise me if he ends up in the top 5 for ARC Mickey. Is he a late shout for a podium even? I mean, you've got Frenchie with a time penalty, but that group of 4 drivers between P2 to P5, well, they are certainly close together. As we can see here, Taylor directly behind Boy Knockout, Frenchie, Jack as well in there. Frenchie the only one of the 4 with a penalty, and 2 of these will be getting a podium with Flynn as things stand. So in terms of who could get the podium, it's surely 2 of these 4 drivers and Flynn, but ARC Mickey will be hoping to get involved in this shout, but we'll see. He's got to get through on Badger first. I think he will. And further back as well, Drac there going for the move. Drac around the outside on Epic Frenchie. Does he get the move done? It looks like he has done. Destroyer Draclen through on Frenchie, up into the top 4. And further back, ARC Mickey through on Badger and up into P8. Agri Badger receiving a 3-second time penalty as well. So we go back on with Epic Frenchie here. Very, very close towards Destroyer Drac. Just got a little bit of a drink there just to make sure we are refreshed for the end of this race as well. Yeah, certainly pretty big for the final places on the podium. Flynn is absolutely running away as we... He's not run away through the whole race, but since, obviously we did see earlier on, can we see penalties? Yes, we can. Not that one. There you go. But yeah, since we saw earlier in the race where Woody was certainly battling with the likes of Taylor, it allowed for Flynn to pull clear. And I think that's what Woody was trying to do anyway. I think he was trying to allow for Flynn to pull clear. Woody had a 3-second penalty at that stage as well. So it did make a lot of sense why Woody tried to give Flynn that gap. I mean, in the end, obviously, it hasn't gone well for Woody. But he did have a great start to the race. He had a fantastic qualifying, got that point. So at least he gets a point in this race. So as we see Taylor making a move on Destroyer Jack here. And it looks like he's on to the podium again. But by knockout Taylor, Drac, Frenchie. It's a bit of a gap, 4.5 seconds. And you've got Viking, and then you've got Mickey on those fresher medium tyres. He's going to be one to watch in these final few laps here, ARC Mickey. Just looking at Destroyer Jack. I think the one to really look at has to be Mickey though. I was just on briefly with those sort of top 5, but I need to be watching ARC Mickey to see when he has to look for the overtake. Is the only potential chance to get a move done down the straight? That's the question. Or can he get a move done before? Is he going to lose too much time stuck behind Viking Fox here before getting onto the main straight onto lap 24? Here we go. Here's a chance. He's going for it. He's using the battery as well. Mickey, round the outside he's going. It's a really unorthodox move from ARC Mickey. He does get it done through the treble right-handers. But it's a mistake from ARC Mickey. Because whilst he is ahead now, Viking Fox will get DRS on the rear of ARC Mickey. That could very well be an error from the Alpine. Down the straight they'll go. I know they're going to be fighting further up the field, but I have to be on with this. Viking, here he comes, here he goes, he sails through, he bypasses out Mickey, and through goes Salty round the outside. Mickey fights it on the inside. Mickey has the better grip as well, the greater advantage. Unfortunately for Mickey, he doesn't lose both places, but he has made a mistake. The former Tier 2 champion, the former Tier 1 champion, ARC Mickey as well. And he has made a mistake there by overtaking Viking Fox far too soon. If he was going to overtake him, he needs to do it in Sector 1. And if he failed in Sector 1, he had to wait until the main straight. Making a move at the treble right-handers was, yes, fascinating to see, brilliant to see. But also a big error for ARC Mickey and may end up costing him a chance to fight for the podium. But they are still gaining good time, you know. Even though they have had that little battle between themselves, they are still gaining time on the top 5. 3 seconds the gap here. So we'll watch and see if the likes of Viking and Mickey can continue to close the gap. But they need, well, ARC Mickey needs to be leading this pack. He cannot afford to be behind Viking Fox here. But we are going to just go up the field towards Destroyer Jack. Epic Frenchie not involved in a battle right now for a podium, or Taylor as well because of their penalty situation. Jack will get ahead. He will be up at a P2. Here comes Taylor as well. Taylor wants to get involved, and he is going to go down the inside on Destroyer Jack. Side by side they run. They made contact only a few laps to go. Don't forget these two. They don't want to make contact again. They may screw up each other's chances of a dramatic podium. Taylor, though, does get through on Destroyer Jack and up at a P2 now. To Jack, then he got Frenchie and a boy knockout. The gap's still hovering at 3 seconds now to Mickey. It's closing though. It's 2.5 seconds now to ARC Mickey. And it continues to close. 2.2 seconds. 2 seconds now. ARC Mickey making inroads on the top 5. As things stand, he will be ahead of Epic Frenchie due to Frenchie's 3-second penalty. And as things stand, it will be mighty close with Taylor with Taylor's penalty. And I think at the moment, he could very well be ahead of Taylor as well. 1.6 seconds to ARC Mickey now. He continues to close the gap here. Flynn continuing his streak out in front. 10.6 with the penalty as well for Taylor. What a victory it will be for Flynn. A dominant display. Another penalty for Frenchie. That's 6 seconds. And that will cost him a potential top 7 finish in the race. Down the inside. Destroyer Jack goes super late on a move on Taylor, and I have to say, that was incredibly late there. Incredibly hopeful by Destroyer Jack. I'm very, very surprised he has attempted that move. I wouldn't have thought he would have gone for that. I am very shocked about that, I can't lie. For me, the move wasn't on Jack, I'm sorry to say. I just don't think the move was there on the inside. I think you've just got to hold out on that one, knowing that the overtake is on down the straight. I think that's the only way you could do it. Don't forget, you're in prime position for a P2 at that stage. I think you've just got to settle in behind. P2 was yours, obviously, bar maybe ARC Mickey or even Boy Knockout. Those, or I mean, Viking's there, but he's not really there because ARC Mickey is there, and Mickey on the outside of Epic Frenchy now. But Frenchy just holds him up a little bit. ARC Mickey, he needs to get through on Frenchy, then he needs to overtake Boy Knockout, then he can get a P2. This has been a fantastic comeback and revival from ARC Mickey here at the Qatari Grand Prix, and he is now in prime position for a P2 after what I have to say, from what I saw, and only from what I saw, obviously I may be incorrect, but I felt it was a mistake from Jack to go for that move. But ARC Mickey now is in that prime position, surely, to take advantage. Boy Knockout, though, will be getting P2 right now. Mickey will be getting a podium, but they are going to go for moves down the straight. First, it will be Boy Knockout. We're going to go on with him. Here we go. He is through now on Taylor and up into P2. But further back, Mickey not going for the move on Frenchy. So he's obviously not had enough there to go for the overtake. So it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one, but obviously deciding to settle in behind. Maybe just keeping his battery in line and just happy to stay in P5 for now for the final 3 laps. But he will be pushing to get through on Boy Knockout. He knows his target isn't Taylor or Frenchy. He knows his target right now has to be Boy Knockout. And he could beat Boy Knockout from this position here. ARC Mickey and Boy Knockout, who both went at it for the title. I was involved in it. There was also, we had Bucky involved. We had Ghost involved. That was back in Season 3. ARC Mickey coming out on top of that as well for back then, the Ferrari team. Season 4, he ended up winning the Tier 1 Championship, ARC Mickey. Hasn't actually raced since then until this season. Well, he did. I think he raced in Season 5 a little bit. He has raced a few seasons since then, but not on a super regular basis and not in a super competitive business where he's battling for great results like a win or podium like he is this season. But now ARC Mickey down at the straight again. We are on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix now. So Epic Frenchy first of all. He is closing, but here comes Taylor. Taylor will get through on Boy Knockout into turn 1. Will he? Side by side. The late move also by. It is Epic Frenchy there. Side by side he runs now with Boy Knockout. Keeping it nick and tuck and close to the Aston Martin. Not quite able to get the move done. Mickey is still being held up though. And Mickey had a gentle look on the inside of Epic Frenchy. Holds off. Again, holds out. You can see he has an advantage here on the grip. Again, looks on the inside line. Epic Frenchy defends it well. You've got Viking, Salty and Badger all involved in this. I did say Badger was going to be happy with a top 10. He will be getting a top 10 as things stand as well. So I think Angry Badger will be very happy with his performance this evening. But here we go again. ARC Mickey on Epic Frenchy. Needs to get ahead. He needs to be directly behind Boy Knockout for the final lap of the race. And then put Knockout under pressure. Can he do that? Or will he fade away? We are going to be starting the final lap in just a moment's time. Flynn is now around at turn 16 and heading all the way up to turn 1 for the final time this evening. Salty Stevens with another penalty. And that will mean that Badger will be ahead of him. Speaking of Badger, Badger's going for a move on the inside of Salty. I wasn't expecting to see this, but Badger has a look on Salty, doesn't quite get it. But here we go again for the final time. Down the back straight, Taylor. But here comes Boy Knockout on for P2, getting P2 on the inside. Taylor wants to hold it on the outside. He doesn't quite get it. And down the inside goes to Williams of Frenchy. Frenchy getting involved. Not quite going for it, however, and backs off at the embers. Here we go. Epic Frenchy. Has he made a mistake there? Because ARC Mickey is closing in. Mickey wants to get a move on Frenchy. Cannot get it done. This must be so frustrating for him. but at the same time, he knows he's getting a podium. No mistakes needed for ARC Mickey here. He cannot make an error. Viking running it close towards Mickey there. But Boy Knockout is the one under all of the pressure because he's got Taylor, Frenchie and Mickey all pushing behind him. Then a few other drivers as well. It's quite epic here between multiple drivers down to P8. But who will end up on the podium? Boy Knockout at the moment is still there in P2. He has done a fabulous job. ARC Mickey would be joining him on the podium. Taylor though, Taylor on the inside, he does get a move. Knockout doesn't fight it. Taylor up into P2, and it looks like he may end up finishing possibly P5 in the race here, Taylor. We are going to move away though, because Flynn wins the Qatari Grand Prix and extends his championship lead. Fantastic drive, dominant drive by Flynn, and for the Haas, Taylor will cross the line P2. He will drop down. Boy Knockout finishes P2. Mickey P3. What a frame that will be. Viking 4th. Look at the gap to Mickey. 4 thousandths of a second. 5th is Taylor. 6th is Havoc Connor. Out of nowhere. 7th Epic Frenchie. 8th Angry Badger. 9th Salty Stevens. Willie Fernandez will take P10. Jar Jar Bing in P11, just outside of the top 10 there, still taking points, of course. So Silky Stevens will recover for a P12, just about, but he will drop behind Gandalf. So Gandalf P12, Silky Stevens P13, but Gandalf's championship hopes are continuing to fade away, unfortunately. And then he got Mr. Potwash P14. And last of all, it will be I Am Batman scoring points in P15 for Kick Sauber. So we just wait on the final driver to cross the line. And then we will move away to the race winner again. GG's Flynn, says Doug. Mental finish, says Doug. I completely agree. And here we go, Batman. Now crossing the line. And there you go, we go towards your race winner for round 11 in Tier 2 UFRL. And congratulations to Flynn. Yeah, very impressive stuff here. Deserved it. Obviously dominated a large part of that race. And there you go. So fantastic stuff. Qualified P2. Ends up P1. Extends his lead in the championship to what I'm imagining now. It was 55 points. You could be very close to being about 80 points clear now, to be honest. 8-0 that is, by the way, not 1-8. So, looking good for Flynn in that championship battle. And also looking good for Flynn if he wants to make up the move to Tier 1. It looks highly likely now. But victory in the mystery round. Round 11 for Flynn. And there you go. Boy Knockout coming back from P15 to take P2 again. Fantastic stuff from him. ARC Mickey did get the fast lap as well. P3. Viking Fox P4 having started in P17. Taylor P5. Havoc Connor P6 as well. So good performance from the pair of them as well. In fact, a lot of them up the order performed very, very well. Epic Frenchie P7. Badger P8. Holding position. I think Badger will be very, very happy with his performance tonight. Showed solid pace. Salty Stevens P9, Willie Fernandez P10, Jar Jar Bing, Gandalf, Silky, Mr. Potwash, and I Am Batman, the final finisher. Unfortunately, Destroyer Jack and Woody both retired in the pits. No safety cars, no virtual safety cars, no red flags, none of that nonsense. We do obviously have it on standard, damage on standard, but guess what? Didn't need any form of safety car at all. And to be fair, we do have quite a few races where that happens, so we don't get too many safety cars here in this league, even though everything's on standard. It's not like everything's on decreased or anything, or turned off. I mean, you know, it'd be quite crazy to turn off everything, or turn off even safety cars. I know some do, but I don't think that's the best way to get the racing. I know that's all-out racing, but what if there's a collision? There's a collision, and there's no attempt of a safety car because it's turned off. Then, yeah, that's a little bit meh, you gotta say. Either way, again, congratulations to Flynn on what was a dominant display. And obviously, we've had a few weeks off, so let's see if anybody would like an interview. And I know somebody said earlier on in the chat, I think it might have been McQueen, I want to say. He did say that he wanted a poll. My apologies, didn't get a chance to get a poll up. So yeah, that was if there was a safety car, I would have had a chance, but unfortunately, near mission impossible there. Right, let's see if anybody does want an interview. Obviously, if people are not, and there is one person in there, we'll go in there in just a moment. Right, let's double check then the calendar for the season as well, just because it makes sense to go on the calendar, doesn't it? Wait, where is it? It is here. Right. So the remaining Canada then, 4 races to go now in Tier 2. Round 12 next Tuesday will be the Mexican Grand Prix. We head to North America for that one. It could, well, really, it's like Central America, but we're going to say it's North America just for the continent, of course. Round 13 is held at Belgium, so we head to Spa, of course, through Vadion and Evreux there as well. Round 14 heading to Monza. And then well, you've obviously got Ascari. Round 15 heading to Austria. And that'll be a fabulous finish where you imagine Flynn may very well have the championship sewn up by round 15 at Austria. He needs to have a gap. I will actually mathematically sort this out. So the gap he needs, so the race win 35, 70 points already. Then he needs 71 for pole 72. So he needs to be 73 points or more ahead at round 15 at Austria. Then he will win the championship without even having to race it. I mean, obviously, you imagine he will race it, especially with the battle for the title. But yeah, for the constructors, I mean, not for the drivers. But for the constructors, he probably would race it. But yeah, if he wants to win the title by round 15, he needs a gap of a minimum of 73 points to mathematically ensure he will be the champion. But anyways, let's go then in the interview room, shall we? We are going to get the interview stuff all prepared. There's that. Right, so I'm just going to get a quick drink, then I'll go into the interview room. I think we've only got the one person at the moment, unless anybody else would like to. Right, drink over. Let's go. Right, so we are now in the interview room. I'm going to make sure everything is on so people can be heard. That's turned off, so that's a good thing. Now it's turned on. Right, good evening to Flynn.
Good evening. How are we doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, mate?
Yeah, delighted to take the win, but yeah, flabbergasted, as I say.
I was going to say, did you see any drivers tonight, Flynn?
Well, obviously at the start of the race, I saw quite a few, and then halfway in, I saw no one. It was just a silent track. To be honest, I did kind of feel like Max Verstappen at one point.
Yeah, it just felt like you were doing a time trial for like the whole, like, not the whole race, but for about 3/4 of it. Um,
Oh yeah.
so let's talk about. I mean, I'm not actually going to go with quali straight away. I'm going to start talk about the start of the race. So you and Woody obviously got a 1-2, a fabulous qualifying result for you. I will get into your work in quali in a minute. But at the start of the race, you two kept hold of 1 and 2. I think it was Taylor up the order with you. I think you'd sort of dropped Gandalf a little bit. So yeah, for the start of the race for you, how was it from your perspective?
I mean, it wasn't too bad. I did try to get the best of starts that I could, but I realised it didn't, so I just tucked up behind Woody. Kind of went into a defense mechanism mode to try and save the 1-2, as Woody would try and run away, give me a bit of DRS, and like I say, keep it a 1-2. And then Taylor, out of nowhere, just got up there, got involved in the fights, and then yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, certainly. And then obviously your teammate got a 3-second penalty. At that stage, was there any sort of communication between you two in terms of what was going to happen, or was it just done in terms of Woody seemed to have backed off, allowed you to? I don't know. I don't know if he allowed you to, but I don't know if you got the feeling that he let you through, or maybe tried to back off a little bit and give you that space or not. I don't know. What was it like for you?
Well, basically, we're always in a VC communicating strategies, all this
Mm,
stuff, fuel system, qualifying, all that stuff. But to be honest, he got 3 seconds. I said just stay ahead. I'll try my best to hold them up so he can run away. Try and get his first win
mm.
this season. But he insisted I go by, so I just gradually went to the right hand side. He lifted for me, and I just went for the move into turn one, and then just kind of ran away after that. Nowhere to be seen.
Fair enough. Yeah, and so yeah, good stuff. Good teamwork. And let's get on with that teamwork. So in qualifying, you and Woody playing a bit of slipstream together. I did see.
Yes. So originally, when we got our first laps on the board, we were in like the 22s, and I believe Woody was slightly struggling to get in between like the low 22s. So our plan was, which we didn't expect, because even I didn't realize, when I started my lap, Woody was right behind me. So I thought, you know what, I'll just abort my lap and help him out, and that got him pole position with a bit of slip and toe. We then sat down and realized, wow, this is actually quite powerful at Qatar. So we went out for our final lap, and then in return of favour, he tried to help me get up the order and try and defend P2, and we managed to do it by quite a substantial gap.
You certainly did. Well, I think it was about half a second to Gandalf. I mean, it was quite remarkable. Don't really see the gaps like that normally. But yeah, fantastic stuff in qualifying. Obviously, start of the race went well, and then after the gap was given sort of by Woody, and then obviously the battling going on with himself and Taylor. Didn't see anybody after that, so you pretty much dominated. Was there anything with the strategy after that, or was it just a normal, fairly easy strategy for you?
To be honest, it was just a fairly normal strategy. I was meant to pit at like lap 15, 16 for fresher tyres, but I thought I'd take the gamble and go a little bit early. I did get a bit worried when I entered the pits because if I went early and there was a safety car, that would have ruined my high chances of being in the top three or potential win. But I took the chance, did it, then just went out on track and just kept building the gap as Woody kept saying push hard, push on, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I say it's push on. I don't know if he meant it as in get 10 seconds clear, but yeah, it was just so dominant. And now let's talk about obviously you won the race. So in terms of a championship now, I think realistically you're going to be about 80 points clear. Um, I don't know if you were listening at the end when I was talking. You need to be 73 points ahead going into round 15 to
Okay,
mathematically secure the title because we do double points as well.
okay.
So, how are you feeling about your title at the moment in terms of do you feel extremely confident? Are you still just going race by race, or how are you approaching it?
Well, gradually I'm getting confident as the time goes on with the championship. You know, at the start of the season, it was a bit of a hit and miss. I got my first win in the season at round number one, and then it kind of went on from there. You know, didn't have a good race. Gandalf finished ahead of me quite a few times, and then since the return of the week, back here racing again, getting a win, doing a few good bits before the week, like Japan, and had my bad race in Baku that got me quite a low points. But to be quite further on and higher up in the championship, it's looking like the dream could be possible.
Yes, very much so. But yeah, dominance continues to happen. I say continues to happen. Like, you haven't like been dominant over the season, but I certainly think you've had very strong races where you have shown signs of dominance, and obviously tonight was certainly that. But we've seen parkour, for example, have that as well. I think Japan parkour won
Oh
by
yeah.
like 25 or so seconds. It was pretty insane. So, it's not like you're dominating every race. You've got other drivers doing it. You've also got very close battles as well involved in that. But yeah, in terms of sort of next season, are you imagining you'll be making that move up to tier one?
It depends, really. It depends, of course, with work schedules and IRL things. It even depends if I could do a Monday at this rate. So we'll just see how the time goes. And if so, would be great. But if I can't, then it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you do end up winning the title, I know at the very least that you would be either in tier one, or if you're not able to race, you're not able to race, obviously. So maybe you could take like a reserve role or something if that's the sort of worst thing. But yeah, hopefully, whether you win a title, obviously, whilst we're both in a cool, hopefully you do, but anything can happen. But yeah, for next season, obviously, hope for the best. But for this season, you're doing very well, and you're certainly on course for that championship. So yeah, great stuff tonight, mate.
Thank you very much. And thank you, as always, for the brilliant comms of Tier 2.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yep. So there you go. Great stuff there with tonight's race winner and the championship leader, who will be roughly 80 points ahead. Might be a little bit less, but it's around that gap, and the gap he needs also to be a champion come the final race of the season, where he needs to be 73 points ahead. There you go. Flynn with a superb race, dominant race in the end, with fantastic teamwork between himself and his teammate Woody. Right, let's see. So we are now going to have another look at the final look tonight at the calendar, and then we'll go back to have a look what the standings were going into the race and see how the results have sort of changed it a little bit. So as you can see, the mystery track is completed. So round 12 Mexico, round 13 Belgium, round 14 Monza, and round 15 is at Austria. So that'll be for next week. Driver standings. So in terms of how it changes things, yeah, as you can see, it was 55 points going into the race. Because of the such dominance there from Flynn, and Gandalf didn't exactly have a particularly great race himself. It means that gap will be hovering around 75 points, maybe 80 at a push. But yeah, that's certainly looking good for Flynn. And Parkour didn't race as well, so it's not like Parkour had a chance to close the gap. And possibly the likes of Boy Knockout has got ahead. I don't think Jack's got ahead. I don't think Cannon could get ahead. Neither of them finished the race or started the race as well. Thank you for the follow to Leo. Very much appreciated on that one. If you do want to join, let me know and I can quickly send a Discord link in. I'll probably actually just copy Jack's one just in case you do want to join. Right, where is it? Jack's Discord link. Might as well use that one because it should work fairly nicely. Copy and we'll paste that straight in. Hopefully it'll work. Oh, let's make me log in. Right, I'll send it over through my phone.